Hey, I'm Global Kristen, and I recently discovered that I have ADHD and autism. And so I'm also putting away groceries, and I feel I have been like learning a lot about myself, and I felt like I already like knew a lot about myself before I knew this part about myself, but I feel like what I'm recognizing are my ADHD traits and also my autistic traits, and I'm seeing like how they have triggered one another, and I am realizing like why I move so fast. Like I came home from the grocery store and I just started like cleaning out the refrigerator and then like, you know, getting ready to put everything away, and I'm like, was telling a friend the other day, I feel like a big part of why I move so fast is because, one, I don't want to forget like what I'm supposed to be doing, because a lot of times like I didn't know this, but like I would forget, and so I just learned to move really quickly. And the other reason why I feel like I move so fast is so that I don't lose motivation, because I feel like what I've subconsciously taught myself over the years is like, if you don't hurry up and do it, you won't do it at all. And the other subconscious lesson that I taught myself, I need a grocery bag, was if you don't do it right now, you likely won't have the motivation to do it, and then it won't get done at all. So I feel like I've essentially subconsciously like learned how to like rush myself around all the time. And a big part of that was because I didn't trust myself to get back to things, or I didn't trust myself to remember things. And I didn't know this. I didn't know it was because I didn't trust myself, you know, but I just knew that I needed to do things in a certain way in order for them to get done. So I think that's why for a lot of my life, my autistic traits were in the lead, because I don't know, I was really super rigid. Like I was like so straight-laced, and I was so rigid because I felt like I couldn't give myself any sort of wiggle room, because I felt like, I didn't know this at the time, but it was almost, as I reflect, probably feeling like if I give you an inch, ADHD side, your ass will take a mile. I can't give you an inch. So then I lived a really rigid life, and my ADHD side was struggling a lot because she just did not feel like she had any sort of freedom. You know what I mean? Like she felt like a prisoner. And so I just realized like how both traits are present at different times in my life. And then it's like after a while of like living such a rigid way, my ADHD side would kick in, because she just like couldn't take it anymore and would just do like really impulsive things. And you know, so it was like a lot of like tug of war, a lot of like back and forth, a lot of like, you know, like impulsive spending. And there was a time in my life where I had no debt, like zero debt. Like I paid off all my debt, I paid off all my student loans, I paid off 3 cars, you know, because it was like I had my car, and then it was my ex-husband at the time, but then we like snowballed and paid off his car, and then he bought another car, and I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? And then we paid that one off, and I had like no debt. And it's crazy because then there's like other times in my life where, you know, and I would say that's when my autistic side was in the lead, because it was very regimented, it was very specific, it was very, everything was like needed to be exact, and everything was in order, and everything had structure, and everything was like but I was also a very rigid person, you know what I mean, because I needed things to be in a certain way, and if they didn't, everything would go wrong, you know. And so then like after like that, and then going into nursing, or having my nursing career and getting burned out from that, like I just thought it was like regular burnout that like all healthcare professionals experience in the field. But what I recognize now, that it was like autistic burnout. So it wasn't just like any burnout, it was just like probably ADHD burnout and autistic burnout. Like I just like, it was just so extreme. And so whenever I like left that career, and what was my point? I was telling you, there was a point. Oh, yes, that my autistic traits were so in the lead. And then like after a while, once I like left that career field in that way, I just like went the opposite way, where it's just like, I need to have more fun in my life. I need more spontaneity. I need more freedom. And it's like, I don't know. It's like there are times where I feel like I was thinking about my decisions fully, and it wasn't just completely impulsive. It sounded like a good idea, and I think that's what makes it really hard about ADHD and like autism is like, I feel like there are times where you feel like I am making a really good decision, and in that moment you are making the best decision for yourself as possible, because that's what you know at that time and that's what you think at that time. But I would make a lot of decisions, and then it would feel like my autistic side had to like clean up what my ADHD side did. So it felt like a lot of like shame and things like that, because it was like, you know, I'm gonna start just doing skits about this to explain more, but I'm just learning a lot about myself. And I already thought I knew a lot of this. I already thought I knew so much of this, but this is just like another layer. I just thought it was because I was like a codependent person because of like life circumstances or whatever. And what I realized and learned is like, it's a layer deeper than that. It's much deeper than that. Like you actually have ADHD, you actually have autism and ADHD. You never knew it. You've been undiagnosed this whole time. You've never had any sort of medication to help you regulate yourself or your system or your mind or anything. You just have learned how to compensate, and you've learned how to help yourself to the best of your ability, but you just didn't know you were struggling the whole time. Anyway, that was probably all over the place, but you know, that's how it is. And guess what? I bet you it relates to somebody. Love you.